Hey guys, while I'm still here, I'd like to do the next day's devotional, if that's okay with you. Yesterday we spoke about the high and the holy. If you want to be high, you better be holy, and that'll maintain the status there. But I need to spend one more day, I think, just delving into this thing, because the scriptures are so full of examples of people who didn't listen to this particular thing. In 2 Chronicles chapter 26, we have the story of Uzziah. Uzziah came to the throne at a young age, and he was a good king. He got rid of a whole lot of the rubbish that was going on in the place. He amassed a great army. He did well in many, many ways. But in one of the verses there in the passage, in chapter 29, it says, "But he became very powerful." And then it goes on to discuss his demise as he fell from grace. He fell from the high place that God had placed him, a place of great influence, a place of great just influence in whatever he was doing, and he fell off his pedestal. It was that bad that God put leprosy on him. You see, he went into the temple one day and he thought that he could do what the priest did. He said, "I'm going to make my own offering today. I'm going to make my own smell offering up to the Lord." And the guy said, "No, you can't go in with incense to this. This is for the priests only." He said who? And he went in and he made his own offering. Upon coming out, he found himself with leprosy in his face, and he had to leave from his place in his palace to go and live amongst the lepers, I presume, in a place of the lowest of the low. And we say, how can you go from so great a height of being the king with amassing huge armies and huge influence and end up being sitting out there with the lepers? Well, that's what happens when you mess with the holy. Don't mess with it, people. Let's do it well. There's a verse that sometimes we use where we say that God can make the Most High your dwelling place. The Most High your dwelling place. And that's a wonderful ideal. But it's an ideal that is reserved for those who understand the depth of holiness that God requires. And there's a bit of a misquote in Psalm 91. It talks about guarding you in all your ways. That means, if we were to be ridiculous about it, that means that God will guide me even in my sinful ways. God will guide me even when I go my own way. God will guide me even when I go the opposite way to the way He wants me to do. And we will quote that God will guide us in all our ways. Well, might I suggest that if that's your inclination towards understanding that verse, you may have it all wrong. You see, the all there is not all encompassing of every aspect of your life. If you're acknowledging God in all your ways, then you can claim that promise. But while you want to go your own way, do your own thing, and live according to your own laws and standards and norms and all that kind of stuff, then you will find that God will not hold to that promise. He is not going to, any act of your deliberate disobedience, God has no responsibility to guard you in all your ways. His responsibility is to guard you when you walk in His way. So let's walk with cleverness and being clever in our heads, understanding this truth, that it can impact our hearts to say, man, I don't want to offend God. I don't want to go my own way. I want to live according to His laws, His principles, and His ways. And only then, people, can you hold claim to that beautiful verse that God says, I will guard you in all of your ways. Let's get to the high place. Let's stay there, using holiness to keep us there. Make sure that God guides us in all of our ways because they are His ways. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.